Necrotizing Fasciitis Foundation, also referred to as the NFF. Our mission is to advocate and spread awareness about necrotizing fasciitis, a rapidly spreading bacterial infection that can destroy skin, fat, and tissue covering muscles, not to mention lives. Often referred to as the flesh-eating disease or flesh-eating bacteria. To contribute, participate, or for more information, please visit our website at www.necfasc.org.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Steam. My name is Tim Hayden and I'll be your host. Our guest on this episode is Andrea Harrison. Andrea is a necrotizing fasciitis survivor who lives in Florida. Andrea is here to talk about her experience. Let's add her to the show. Hi Andrea, how are you? You're on the road traveling today, see? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, I live in Florida. I'm born and raised in Florida, so I'm a Florida girl all the way. I have 3 younger sisters, and we're all very close. I have one driving right now. She's my driver, so chauffeur, caregiver, whatever you want to call her today. But her husband and my husband, we're like I said, we're very close. We might nitpick at each other, but it's out of love.
That's good family. That's good family. Why don't you just go ahead and tell us a little start about your necrotizing fasciitis experience?
So I want to say March 3rd is when I first started feeling really bad about myself. Feeling bad, like not feeling well or anything. Had flu-like symptoms. Somehow I came out with the chills and didn't know what was going on. Went to work on March 4th and got sent home because I couldn't even keep myself warm. I was starting to get a headache, so I went into the doctor's office, the walk-in clinic. They couldn't find anything. So I spent that Friday, Saturday in bed. It was last year when this happened. Spent Friday and Saturday in bed. That Sunday I started feeling a little better, but it was hurting to walk and everything. So went to church, got back, went back to bed, and then that Monday ended up calling out of work, and called my husband and told him that I was heading to the ER. When I got to the ER, of course, with COVID and everything, the ER was full of just COVID patients, so they were testing everyone and everything. So when I finally got put into a room, they did all the necessary tests, and they kept me overnight because they said they saw some cellulitis on my groin, and I had a kidney infection. So they went ahead, treated me for the kidney infection and the cellulitis on the groin. Well, this is where the part of my story I don't remember, because as soon as everything happened, I remember walking into the ER, walking to the room, but I don't remember going up to a bedroom or a patient's room or anything. From what my husband has had told me, and my family's told me, is that 2 days later, which was Wednesday, I went sepsis and my blood pressure dropped. And then 2 days after that, they noticed a spot on my groin area, my upper thigh area. So they kept an eye on it. By that Saturday, it had triple and quadruple the size of what they thought it was. So I went to emergency surgery. So they went ahead, put me in a medical coma. And then from there, I was transferred to a trauma hospital in Gainesville. And at the time, I weighed 417 pounds because they had the doctor who was treating me had to remember that number so they could have a bed that could hold me, basically. But while I was in I went to Shands in Gainesville. While I was there, they did more surgery, and then they did some MRIs and everything. And from what they found, it was the Necrotizing Fasciitis in my groin area. And when they brought me out of my coma, I thought I was still at home in Fort Walton. I thought it was still in the north part of Florida, northwest part of Florida. I didn't know what was happening. And the first person I see was my aunt, who lives in the south part of Florida. I looked at her, asked her why she was in Fort Walton, and then asked where my husband was, because that was just the one thing I knew that was a constant for me, was that he was going to be there. So she told me what happened, and he told me what happened, and I had to have it retold to me ever so often, so I can remember, because I lost that memory. Like, for the whole week and a half I was under, I don't remember anything. But when I got to come back to the Panhandle of Florida, was like a month and a half after being in Gainesville. So, and once I got back into the original hospital I went to, I spent until July 3rd. So it's coming up almost on 1 year since I left the hospital. So it's awesome. Been very emotional. Like, every time I think about it and pictures pop up, I'm like, wow, that happened a year ago.
But you got to remember, look how far you've come in that year. That's a lot. That's a lot. Andrea has submitted some photos. I just want to warn everyone that's tuning in live that the photos, some of them might be a little graphic, but
yeah,
it's of her NF infection area.
So that's my original. That's the original site of where they took out all the dead skin and everything. And then your groin, your under apron, and your side. So it was my groin, my under apron, and my thigh. So where they took the graft site is right above it. So that's my graft.
Right.
So, and that just finished healing up. That was a pressure sore that was on my head, and I had started losing my hair, and that was bad. Oh, yeah, you had alopecia. Yeah, my sister Carol Lamb says I have alopecia really bad.
Has that cleared up since then?
I'm starting to get all of it, most of my hair back, except for where the wound side is, and it's slowly coming in, but it's coming in thicker and curly now.
And this style.
This is the first day I got to go into a chair, and I told my husband, take the picture, and send it to my family. So, and it was the first big smile they had for me.
Yeah, it's a beautiful smile.
And this is my wedding day. It will be 3 years in a couple of days, in a couple of weeks. So I went from there to where I am at now. This was my graduation, and then it was like I was doing a comparison on the weight loss journey I was doing before all of this necrotizing fasciitis stuff started.
You see a big difference in those two photos there.
Yeah.
Making good progress.
This is my best friend / birthday twin. We've always picked birthdays together, and this was right before I went into the hospital.
It's good to have friends and good
Yes.
support.
This was some more friends of mine. This is at their grandmother's funeral at the beginning of the year, right before all of it started. These are my sisters from when we were younger. So,
see a strong family resemblance there.
yes, you do. Again, it's a Halloween picture. We're Korean, half Korean. So my mom had us all wearing Korean dresses for Halloween for a couple of years.
Those are cute. Pretty dresses.
This is a little girl that's at my church. Her birthday, and she and I share the same birthday. Exactly the same day. So, and her mom's half Korean, but every time she sees me now, she runs up and hugs me. So, and while I was in the hospital, she made me get well soon cards. So,
I imagine that helped a lot.
this is just a sign that I found. I thought it was funny.
It is. It is down there anyway, not where I am.
This is my husband. This was taken this past Sunday, on the way to church.
Handsome man.
Yeah. So this was taken right before New Year's Eve this year. In the picture is me, my husband, my brother-in-law, which is his brother, and then my sister-in-law. This was taken last Thursday at my kids' graduation. The 3 kids are in the back. They're triplets. And I babysat them since I was 20. So they hadn't seen me since their freshman year. And for me to show up the way I did, and all of them, while I was in the hospital, donated money to my GoFundMe foundation fund. So, and on the right behind me is their mom. So I've always been the biggest supporter of those 3 kids.
Well, sure, you're a big part of their lives for a long time.
Yeah. That's one of my really good friends from high school. So, and then these are pictures of my work buddies and I right before I got sick. Right at the beginning of the pandemic, we had to learn how to figure out those mask situations.
That was a tough time to go through there.
Yeah.
So, did they recognize? Apparently, they didn't recognize it right away. Do they know what your offending bacteria was? Was it strep?
At the beginning, they thought it was just cellulitis, and then when they did see the spot, they went ahead, diagnosed it with Necrotizing Fasciitis, which is not uncommon in this area of Florida with the Gulf and everything and the bays. So a lot of people who come visit here, when they go home, that's when they find it too, because of the bacteria in the water. Which my thing was, I hadn't been near any of the open waters or anything. So we're still trying to figure out what happened.
It sounds like it was probably strep. Strep.
Yeah.
It was probably offending bacteria. Has it affected you emotionally or psychologically since then?
So my doctor, just my primary care doctor, who is awesome, when I was in the hospital, would call every single weekend to see how I was doing, and my husband would tell him. And when I finally went and saw him for the first time, he's like, I don't know how you survived this. And I'm like, it's just a strong will I have. And God willing, I was going to survive.
Determination.
But he finally diagnosed me with a form of PTSD, and he wants me to keep a journal of my emotions.
Are you talking
So,
to a therapist or anything about your PTSD?
not yet. He wants me to do this journal first before I do anything else. But I do have a lot of people that I talk to who helps me throughout the day, and when I'm not feeling well, I have days where I can keep going, and there's days I just want to sleep.
Is there anything that helps snap you out of it, or any coping mechanisms or anything like that helps?
Being able to like help out, like being able to get out of the house. My sister runs a business, and I help her out with that sometimes. When I can get in my wheelchair, I'm happy to get outside my house. It's when I have to stay in my house all the time. It's when I get to the point of why am I still in the bed?
Well, you got to keep in mind, sunshine actually does help.
Oh yeah,
And if you're in the house all the time, you're not getting that sunshine to help you much.
yeah.
Um,
All last week, that right before the weekend, before Memorial Day weekend, it just rained and rained and rained forever and a day.
got locked in then too. When you had your skid grass and everything, did you have to use a wound vac?
Yes, at the beginning when I was in Shands, I um had a wound vac, and when they did their first, so down here in the Gulf Coast, we have Sacred Heart, and they did the first initial debridement and everything. I think they did 2 debridement here, and then when I went to Shands, they did one more debridement there, and then they did a cadaver skin graft, and then they went ahead to use my own skin for the second skin graft, and they used the wound vac twice on the cadaver one and then on my regular one.
So
On
did the
the
cadaver went? Did the cadaver skin graft take, or is that why they
Yes,
redid it with your own?
yes, that's why they wanted to check it to make sure my skin would take the cadaver. So
I've heard of them
um,
doing that, but I've never talked to anybody who's had the cadaver donor.
yes. um, but what was that?
Do you have any special treatment that you need to do to your skin graft or to your new skin that you got?
No, we lotion it basically. From what they told me at the hospital, everything looks very good. I do go to wound care once or twice a month at the beginning of everything, because when I got sent home, I didn't know what was going to happen, if I was going to be able to go see a doctor to see if they're going to be able to take care of it. But I have a very awesome wound care doctor. Um, I really
Has,
like them.
have your grafts given you any trouble, like coming open or splitting?
No, I haven't had any issues with any of my graft sites or anything. I had a pressure sore at the beginning, but that's on my coccyx area.
Right. He wasn't
So,
in that area. Did you have to do physical therapy or occupational therapy afterwards?
when I was in the hospital, I was doing physical therapy, occupation therapy, and those two was it. Once I got to the point where they can be able to transfer me into a wheelchair so I could um, get around the hospital, they basically said that I was done. I had graduated from physical therapy and all that. I still at home. I still work on my core and everything because I don't want to lose anything.
Right. So, how has it been for you to start your new normal? Because I'm sure you had to make modifications to your regular life.
Yeah, the first thing was I had to learn that I need to ask for help and not be scared to. I was very independent on myself that when it came down to something fell on the ground, I'm like, I can get it.
And overstrain yourself a little bit then, I guess. She's lost connection, I guess.
I
There she is. So Andrea, how are you
Give me a
and your
minute.
family now?
I'm sorry. Hold on.
That's okay. I was just asking how your family was.
Let me back up. This is such a rush. We're going through the part of the.
She'll be back here in a few minutes. While we're waiting, I just want to ask everyone to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find it at www.youtube.com/c/necfash.
There I am.
I was just asking how you and your family are doing now.
We're doing it. Actually, we're on our way to.
Not
And
catching.
for the band.
There you go.
And I got one. I'm praying not to say I got one. What do you mean?
Well, Andrea, I guess she's gone again. Well, I'd like to thank Andrea for being here today. Thank you for tuning to the show. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'll see you next time for another episode of The Steep. And please remember to smile and be kind.